Crypto Trader is proudly brought to you by eToro. Discover a simpler way to trade and invest in cryptocurrencies and more.
One of the biggest themes that we've been talking about is the difference between utility tokens and security tokens. And whereas the difference is not clear to some, for the regulators it's very clear. There's a massive difference between securities tokens and utility tokens. Trevor, what's the big difference between what they call a utility token and what they call a security token?
Well, I think to back up a little bit, what's the point of the regulators? What's their job? And in a nutshell, I would define it as they're trying to defend and protect retail investors. They're trying to protect them from, unscrupulous promoters.
That's their role. Their role is to protect the retail investor.
So really the question is, what makes a coin a product and what makes a coin an investable security? And it's a gray spectrum for sure, and it's not clearly defined, but there's some key points. Without, I'm not a securities lawyer, but we've learned enough to kind of understand if it quacks like a security, if it walks like a security, it's probably a security.
It'll be a security. So what are the characteristics that differentiate a utility token from a securities token?
A security token means you have investors that are expecting profit. And that's where it gets great, because even utility coins, people are kind of hoping for profit these days too. But at the end of the day, that's one characteristic. Another one is if you launch something that has a future profit baked in, so the work, it's called the Howey test in the US, and it's to figure out if something's a security or not. And really, there's no difference. So tokens are just a new form of security, and the same frameworks and the same tests apply as a utility.
But theoretically, when a customer or an investor buys a utility token, it's not really supposed to be an investment. It's something that they can use in the future to activate something.
Exactly.
And as a security, you're actually expecting a return, which is linked to the company's performance or the performance of something. So why have securities tokens been so slow to launch?
I just talk about this all the time. Securities are the next mega trend in crypto. I truly believe that. Right now, the vast majority of tokens and the market cap is utilities. 99% is utilities.
So we got 700 billion or 600 billion in, we can call it in utility tokens. When is this big securities token boom coming, and why hasn't it come already?
This 2018 is the year of the security token. Make no mistake, this is my hairy prediction, is that by this time next year, securities will have surpassed utilities, and it's not going to take that much.
It's 12 months from now.
12 months from now, this time in this chair next year, that's my prediction.
So are you saying that the money is going to flow from utility tokens to security tokens, or that we're just going to create a bigger market?
Bigger pie, absolutely, because utility token investors don't want to invest in securities. A 10, 20, 30% return isn't interesting to them. But retail investors, institutions, pension funds, that's the type of money that we expect to see flood into the space. So I think the pie is going to get bigger.
So Polymath has just done, well, they didn't do an ICO, they did a placement of tokens. Yeah. What does Polymath actually do? What does it enable users to do?
In a nutshell, Polymath just makes it easier for businesses and non-technical people to launch a security token. Right now it's very hard. You asked that question earlier. I've tried to do it myself, and that's how I know. It's an agonizing experience.
What's so hard about it? I mean, is it not as simple as issuing a token?
Unfortunately, with securities, you have a whole new dimension of complexities. You have technical issues where if you wanted to do certain things like pay dividends, have proxy voting, have corporate governance, that's a difficult technical challenge. Secondly, you have legal issues. There's a global web of regulatory bodies you have to untangle to figure out what you can and can't say and what your coin can and can't do. And then finally, even if you get those two things figured out perfectly, how do you get liquidity? Right now, if you look at the SEC, it's called the Securities and Exchange Commission. It's called that for a reason. No exchanges want to touch securities right now because then they get regulated by the SEC. So the point is, tech, legal, and lack of liquidity is the main barriers to launching a token right now.
So there are some securities tokens that have been issued to date. Where do those securities tokens trade today?
They don't.
They don't.
There is no, and that's why we're so excited about our T0 partnership. They are going to be the first oasis of liquidity for securities tokens.
So just to get there, it was one of the announcements that you made. What you're saying is that Polymath will make it easy for anyone to tokenize anything, creating a securities token.
I would define it a little narrower. We're trying to really zero in on financial securities. So stocks, bonds, mortgages, private equity, venture capital, commodities, all of these types of assets are paper-based, and we think they should be tokens instead.
And what does Polymath actually allow? What does Polymath actually do? Can you do everything from beginning to end? Or?
Polymath is a distributed, decentralized organization, and what that means is we have a network of third parties that work together to help an issuer launch a token. So we have legal professionals, we have KYC providers, we have investors, and they're all incentivized by our token to help an issuer go through the whole process of launching a security token. And it's dramatically, let me add, it's dramatically faster and dramatically cheaper than the alternative, which is doing an IPO or doing a private placement fundraise.
So your own token, is it a securities token or is it a utility token?
That's a good question. And it's funny, we realized that what we're trying to do is facilitate the network. We're the gas, we're the fuel for the network. In the same way Ether is literally called gas when you send it, that's how we think of Polycoin.
Okay, and trading of securities tokens. So we've had some big announcements here this week, and T0 is going to be the first exchange to trade securities token.
The first, the biggest. We've known the executives there for years now, and we can't tell you how excited we are to integrate our technology. It's not even our technology, it's the standard that we're open sourcing to the world. We're going to make sure that T0 and eventually other exchanges have full access to that standard.
It's like a match made in heaven. You guys are going to securitize everything and they're going to provide a platform for people to trade.
Exactly.
So that means you must be very excited about the T0 launch.
I have my hat on, I have my T0 hat. People think we're competitors, but it's just the opposite. Like you said, we're the on-ramp and they're the off-ramp. And for us to be fully vertically integrated, we need each other.
You know what? I think I'm going to go and interview the guys from T0.
Okay.
Crypto Trader is proudly brought to you by eToro. Discover a simpler way to trade and invest in cryptocurrencies and more.